We'd hop the train, Canal Street, and there we were. That was like great. I'm Ron Van Cleve, 5-time world champion, 15-time All-American, the Black Dragon. We didn't have any money, so we'd wait till somebody comes out. We'd go in the door as they exited and sneak in and sit there. It was great. I mean, we saw hundreds of movies, and I became addicted to Kung Fu. We knew every movement, everything, you know. I went to an audition in 1973 for a Chinese company called Yanche Films. Out of thousands of people that went to the audition, I was selected. They gave me a 5-film deal. I was off to Hong Kong, and I stayed, you know. I did 20, 30, 40 films over there. The black guy was always a bad guy, so they would always need a muscular bad guy, and I'd cut my hair off, I'd put mustaches on, all kinds of stuff. It was great working over there. We shot films in 2 weeks, and a lot of the directors, they're former Kung Fu stars. So they know exactly what they want. They'll go, oh yeah, that's it, okay, okay. Great.
My high school was like city champions in Washington, D.C. in everything.
You have to believe you're fast. I'm telling you, I'm coming right here and I block it.
I was one of those strange guys. I was too small for football, too short for basketball, too slow for track, and the truth is I still can't catch a baseball. I mean, the truth be told. And I heard that some guys were doing some Chinese martial arts in the basement of a local elementary school. Right on that left corner down there, you can enter the building over there, and we'd go down to the basement on Saturdays, and they would let a small group of us do our Kung Fu classes down there in the evenings. And they didn't even call it Kung Fu then. This was in the 60s. All I knew is the guy that ran the class was called Kung Fu Joe. And I thought, well, this is kind of cool. So I stepped into the class on a Saturday evening, and believe it or not, I found out that it was something I was fairly good at. I mean, I came back week after week. Next thing you know, I was hooked. And we would actually drive to New York City, to Chinatown, and they had 5 theaters, the Canal, the Sun Sing, and they all showed double features on the weekend. And we would sit in the theater and watch 2 movies, we'd run through Chinatown and catch 2 more, and we'd watch 8 to 10 movies, and in the wee hours of the night, we'd drive back to D.C., and we would train in whatever we saw on the screen. Kung Fu movies were shown just at the theaters in Chinatown, but they weren't on TV, and nobody had ever seen them, and it was a very small group of folks that were really into that.
I started studying martial arts when I was, I can't remember. But I do remember that I've been doing it all my life. Python, after it hits, then it locks, and it never lets you go. I am also Tayari Cassell. I started studying the Japanese martial arts with karate, then into the Chinese martial arts. And I found the beauty and the softness and the fluidity fit my energy, or at least my ability to move in a particular way. Then that worked for me. You know, coming up in the 60s and 70s, that was a moment for African people of self-awareness and a sense of pride. James Brown, say it loud.
Martin Luther King was giving a message, and Muhammad Ali was talking about pride, and James Brown was yelling, "I'm black and I'm proud." You know, we just started hearing that thing, and we started thinking, well, maybe it's all right. There's a different pride coming. There's a different day coming. There's a change coming.
Well, I was born in Brooklyn, New York, on January 25th, 1943. You know, I was a dreamer, reading comic books, drawing all the time, you know, lifting weights, going to martial arts. My brother was looking at girls at 15, 16, you know? Don't waste time with that stuff. Let's go to the dojo. Martial arts classes were $10 a month. I was collecting soda bottles. I was doing everything, all kinds of chores. And for $10, I was there every day. And my teacher, Moses Powell, was a really superior jiu-jitsu practitioner. He was the first black man to teach the FBI. He was Malcolm X's bodyguard. I mean, he was somebody, you know? I mean, he was really, he could roll out on one finger, handstand on one finger, and then roll out. And you couldn't hear the rollout. It was silent. It was amazing. Like he defied gravity. I was, holy.
Black people in general, the black guys are kind of, you know, you got to be able to take care of yourself. And you look at a guy kicking and punching, and they've never seen anything like that. My name is Donald Hamby. I'm the chief instructor of Hamby's Hungard Titan Crane School. You know, in my community, I knew guys, we had certain techniques that we would use, but it was more centered around wrestling. You know, you throw the guy and you know, you may do some damage by kicking him or punching, but they had no technique, you know what I'm saying, like in Kung Fu. For the black community, it really took hold. It spread like wildfire. They were so astonished by the methods that were used to subdue someone. I was born in Birmingham, Alabama, March 6, 1954. My father had a good job. He worked at a steel mill. So we had a very good life, but he and my mother separated, and, you know, things kind of went awry there. And then looking at the conditions there, I remember as a boy, when the whites would walk down the sidewalk, I was told not to look at them directly in their face. Drop your head and move to the side. Well, for me, my nature is not that way. Due to the civil rights movements there and the people being killed and just beaten down by the soldiers in the street, I just wanted to get out of that place. And when I came here to Los Angeles in '69, it was like I was born again. It was a whole different world. That's why I trained harder than anyone else. I didn't know if I was going to have to go back there because my mind was stuck in the past like that. So I trained very hard.
I joined the Marine Corps in October 15th, 1960, and I went down to North Carolina. Racism was the order of the day in the Carolinas, or any state down south during those times. I couldn't get the idea of not going to stores and drinking water from public faucets or going into toilets. I couldn't really relate to that. Coming from Brooklyn, it was very foreign for me, but I learned quick. My first night in boot camp, I had a fight with a guy who did not want to sleep in the same barracks as niggas. One guy pissed on me when I was sleeping. I always had a hard time sitting in the back of the bus. It always bothered me. You know? And this was one of those days, maybe I had a hard time on the base or something. And I said, I'm not sitting in the back. And I sat third row up. Needless to say, big problems. The cops came, they called the base and had me picked up by the military police. I wound up being detained. I'm waiting in my cell. And they said, okay, you can go. And I picked up my stuff, my uniform and everything, you know. I go outside and I'm confronted by about 20 like farmer type guys with shovels, pitchforks, all that kind of stuff, you know, really, really bad. And they beat me up, knocked 4 teeth out, they broke my jaw. They broke my left arm at the elbow and turned around backwards and stomped on it. They broke around my neck and pulled me up in the air. The last thing I saw was someone swinging a shovel toward my face. I woke up, I was in the hospital. They never caught any of them. After 4 months in the hospital and then 6, 8 months light duty, kind of stuff, they decided to send me to Vietnam. My captain said that we didn't get you here, but we'll have the Gooks get you. I served in Vietnam 14 months. I was a gunner on a helicopter. I manned an M60 machine gun. I was an artillery man. I manned a 105 howitzer. That's a cannon that fires like 12, 15 miles away. Big, high explosive rounds, and bad. Somebody calls in the coordinates, set the gun going, fire. Yeah. Saw a lot of racism in Vietnam. A lot. More than what I thought I would. Because the same white cracker officers and NCOs from North Carolina were having black guys go out on these no-return missions, you know what I mean? Things I saw in Vietnam. I haven't slept properly for decades. And Vietnam damaged my mind. It took me many, many years just to not live in survival mode. I got out of the service in 1965. I came back to New York, and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I was really lost. The martial arts was my only escape. I knew that with the martial arts, I could always do my best, and it would keep me going.
We had lived through the early 60s of the marches in Birmingham. We'd seen the hoses and dogs, but everybody thought, well, right now, because of these times, things are going to be different for the next generation. But one by one, you saw Kennedy killed, and then Bobby killed, and you started to realize that they're killing off the dream. And I think that once Martin Luther King was killed, there was a feeling of, well, that's the end of the road. I mean, who's going to lead now? I felt like everybody else did. It was like they had killed your father. There was a closeness there for someone that you didn't know personally, but everybody felt they did. Because when you went into a black homes then, on every wall there was a picture of Jesus Christ and Martin Luther King. And it was like a part of you had died. I remember walking the streets during the riots, people flying around me in every direction. The killing of Martin Luther King was, I think, was kind of the spark. But I think the frustration of the people at that time was something that had been going on for years and years. People were burning H Street. They were burning predominantly black communities. And they were saying, well, but you're burning your own communities. And I think a lot of people at that time felt, but they're not our communities. We don't own anything. We don't run anything. We don't control anything. So let's just burn it down. Some people gave up and other people teamed up. And I was one of those people that thought, well, I'm going to do something great. I want to try to do something with my life. And I knew that I was a part of a generation who could make a change. Then all of a sudden comes along Bruce Lee. You saw a lot of inner city kids really getting into martial arts and identifying with Bruce Lee. I mean, everybody. We saw the young Chinese kids get a different kind of pride. Because they kind of understood that whole underdog thing.
I was first impressed by Bruce Lee. I'm sure everyone was. I used to go to the Kim Sing Theater down in Chinatown every weekend, Everybody did,
Most Kung Fu movies was about the guy that was downtrodden and he beat the establishment. And it was the Jim Kellys out there doing their thing and Ron Van Cleef. And it was something that you could identify as a culture.
In the United States, the black guys were always the bad guys, the pimps. It was during that exploitation kind of period, the drug dealer. And I wanted to be a Kung Fu star. I met Bruce Lee at the All-American Championship at Madison Square Garden, and he saw me fight. He said, "Wow, you're the Black Dragon." And, like 10 years later, I made a film, and the title was The Black Dragon. It was, like, really funny. They needed a hero black guy, finally.
After the death of the Dragon comes a new American superstar. 16 years in the martial arts, 7th degree black belt, and 4 times world champion. Introducing Ron Van Fleet as the Black Dragon. We said enough. Now we'll let him do the talking. Are you free? The Black Dragon, rougher, tougher, and stronger than anything you've seen before. The Black Dragon. Big mothers are his specialty. A blockbuster of a motion picture. Don't miss it. It'll be exploding in this theater soon.
In Hong Kong, even though you're a Hakwai, if they respected your work, or if you could do your thing, you were very well respected in Hong Kong. I didn't ever feel any of the stuff that I felt in America. That's why I stayed there 10 years. I was never called a nigger or any of that kind of stuff. But Hakwai is Black Ghost, anyway,
Shoe polish?
No, special Chinese makeup. Just makeup?
No, babe, it's a real...
Black Dragon's Revenge.
Mr. Van Cleef, were you expecting anyone else?
Death of Bruce Lee, Way of the Black Dragon, Kung Fu Fever, Super Weapon. I did a bunch of them with that.
One day I was riding up in Silver Spring, Maryland, in D.C., and I saw this sign that said Lynn's Karate. Didn't say Kung Fu, it was Lynn's, because remember, at that time, still nobody knew what Kung Fu was. And I saw Lynn's Karate, but in really small letters, it said Kung Fu and Tai Chi. When I walked in, and there was Grandmaster Willie Lynn. He turned out to be an amazing instructor. And I told him, I'll learn all this stuff, but what I really want to learn is the Kung Fu. And so I became his personal student, and for years and years and years, I worked for him. A year into training with him, I was the head instructor. Teaching makes you an amazing martial artist. Anybody who's ever taught will tell you that. When I opened my school, I actually called it Shaolin Wushu. I didn't have my name on it because I thought, who would come to Dennis Brown's Kung Fu? It was Lynn's Kung Fu, or Jiao Gao, Fu Jiao. It all had a Chinese name or Chinese master, Master Wu's this. And it wasn't years after that till it became all right for folks to know, because Dennis Brown, the performer, the competitor, became like a brand. So it was okay to say, you know what? We can call our school Dennis Brown's Kung Fu, and maybe people will come. Now, hit your horse stance. Move. Keep those fists tight. Bring your right fist. Punch. Punch. Real strong. Punch. Punch. Stand up. It's right here. Ready to block it? You sure? Now, I'm telling myself, oh, I'm just so fast. I don't care what Jia Jia does. He can't block this because I'm so fast. Can you block it? I'm telling you, I'm coming right here. Now block it. It can't do it because you have to believe you're fast. Do you believe you're fast? If you believe it, you will be it. Move! 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 Kick! Change lane, change! Oh, look straight ahead. Are you still focused on me? This is Kung Fu, yes? You can't go eyes on you, sir. I want you to look right at me and go, eyes on you, sir. Can you do that?
Yes, sir.
Let me just see you do it. Eyes on who?
Eyes on you, sir.
Come on, make me believe it. Eyes on who?
Eyes on you, sir.
Kick! Martial arts is not something that you just learn. It's something you become. You become a black belt. It is someone who strives for excellence in everything. It becomes who you are. not just in the school, everywhere. So if you're no longer a martial artist, you were never a martial artist.
Now you're talking about a social organization. This is what the martial arts are supposed to do as well. So if you're just thinking it's about kicking and punching, then you're losing it. Because it's supposed to be about the elevation, bringing you to another state, and to be socially responsible.
You know, Kung Fu has this effect on everyone that it touches. If they're really serious about it, oh man, it overwhelms them, you know? And you have to have someone to balance that out. I was the same way, but my instructor was there, constantly teaching me, and I'd tell him about these feelings that I would have. I get too aggressive, too emotional, and you have to have someone to guide you through those things. I first started in Hung Gar when I was 21. Dok Sam Kong came over in 1977. Sifu Kong is a very open-minded individual. In fact, I think he was one of the first Chinese to start to teach other ethnic groups. And he took me on his wings when he came, and he and I sparred a lot, and he shared a lot of information with me. His skill was just very profound. The way he moved and how he could get out of certain situations was just amazing to me. And that's what motivated me to train harder. In fact, I had people come into my house to challenge me. They said to me, "Oh, I heard you practice Kung Fu now, huh?" I said, yeah. They said, "I want to try you out." I said, "Come on in." And of course, so I beat them down. I showed no mercy. I had not acquired that compassionate side. Basically, in the martial arts, they start off with breath control, breathing, and then the stances. So we had to sit in the square horse stance, the cat stance, the scissor stance, the hanging horse stances, and we would do that every session. And I tell you, wow, only the strong survive. For me, I was very excited. I mean, I had an appetite for it that it never waned at all. There wasn't much information on Hung Gar at the time. I didn't see many articles or anything. It was so secretive. I started looking around, finding books, the Lam Sa Wing books. You didn't want the art to die, so you had a student write down these techniques and the form and the application and all that stuff there. So these books are very special and they're very rare. And then but they were in the Chinese writing, and we couldn't understand them. Then, to the right, my student, Jessica Lee, I said, "Can you read the Chinese characters?" She said, "Sure." And hit, and turn.
These are written in the old, very traditional ways, but the characters is the same.
I see.
And then they are written in a more poetic ways.
Oh, so she interpreted the book for me, and that's when the eyes opened.
The school that I was involved in, the New African Kung Fu Kupigana Ngumi Society, embraced all the elements of the community, and we promoted the culture in different ways. Kupigana Ngumi is the synthesis of the African martial arts experience that comes from the traditional as well as contemporary movements of warrior combat out of Africa. Basic posture, basic movement, basic punches and kicks, like every other system.
Block to the mid, stack to the mid.
So we pull them together underneath that umbrella of Kupigana Ngumi. Hold on, stop. Do me a favor. Do that one again. I like that movement. And the reason why that one was important is because while you're in the center, you get a chance to strike and block. So this is a full 360-degree motion when you have to be aware of what's going on around you at all times. Wow, there it is. I like that. The warrior spirit and the warrior training, it comes from the beginning. And to understand, who you are. And you draw on your ancestors as well. then the understanding of the drum and the power and the spirit of the drum, the African drum, began to touch something closer within me. And I realized that this is who I am, this fits better. Because I understand that if your culture is strong, you stay close to the culture, then you're strong. The drum is Africa's gift to the world. It's the heartbeat. It's something that motivates you, it pushes you, it drives you. You know, they use it for music to help send warriors into battle. And would drum while they would fight. And then the movements that the warriors would come back, you know, to show, you know, the other people. That's how the tradition also was passed on. When the drums were playing for the celebration and those things were happening, there were guys who were coming back, they were happy, of course, and then you have someone who's saying, you know, well, the man attacked me, and so I took my shield and I pushed it here, and I stabbed him with the spear, you know. So you have these movements, and so some of the movements with the drum and the rhythm, they became dance steps as well. And so you can pass it on like that. I've been competing nationally since 1967. You see, I do forms, I do the weapons, but I'm a fighter. I can apply everything that I do.
I enjoyed competition. I felt it was the only place that I had full control of what was happening with my life at that point.
He's injured, he's down. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the winner is Ron Van Fleet from the United States, who will go into the finals.
You win a few hundred championships, you almost have this invincible feeling. That's only in your mind. Normally when you feel like that, that's a sign that you're going to get beat soon. And that's normally what happens.
All of your training, everything that you believed in, everything that you put your sweat, your heart, your soul, sometimes your blood into, you have to make it happen right then, right now, because the moment that person is in front of you, they can do whatever they want to do because they are trying to do the exact same thing to you. And that's what I love. It's the beauty of the unexpected moment.
In 1982, because of my rank in terms of competition, I got invited to go to Red China, they call it there, you know. As nobody goes to China, they say, and I don't know if it's true, they say I was the first African American to train in mainland China. I might as well have been Michael Jackson. Everywhere I went, there was a crowd of people following me up and down the street. And it changed my career because I realized then, oh, there's so much more I can learn. I had gotten a certain amount of notoriety from the trips and from the competing where people looked up to me. People listened to me only because I was that Kung Fu guy. He's black, but he's a Kung Fu guy. Believe it or not, I had over 600 trophies. And one day I put on my best Kung Fu uniform and I made, I think, 10 trips to the landfill and threw them all away. What I really am is a Kung Fu teacher.
Come on, come on. Keep those hands up. Keep the hands up. Let's do it one step at a time. I go here, blah, blah, chop. Yes, go.
So let's talk to you about controlling techniques, you know, neutralize, control, chin art.
Chin art is the art of manipulating joints, using pressure points, and you're using balance to take control. Chin art says if somebody grabs you, do not break away. He grabbed you. So instead, if he grabs you, you control it. Make sure that he's holding on. Make him hold tighter. And then you take control. At this point, it takes just a few ounces of pressure to drop it.
We're protectors of the community, and we don't have to protect them in the way that we used to. But maybe our role as Kung Fu instructors, we're still protectors of the community. It's not strange then that we talk to kids about doing well in school.
Every time you bring a report card in, every report card, if you have at least a B average, they put another stripe on your uniform.
A large percentage of our students, when they come into Kung Fu, their parents come back and say they're also doing better in their regular school.
You made the principal's list. Bring it in so he can get his stripes, absolutely.
Well, that makes sense. How can you teach someone focus skills and listening skills and concentration and discipline and good work ethics that you need to run a form 15, 20 times a day and it not go over into everything else they did? We teach discipline. You got a guy that's out of control, let us deal with it. It's what we do best. We've been able to change lives, and I think that is the biggest effect that we've had on the community is we've changed lives.
I'm in this. I'm a true believer in what I do. My philosophy in teaching is not to water down the art. Have patience in teaching, but demand that it be taught correctly. This hand is in line with the shoulder, right? And we are the guardians of that, and we can't put our own interpretation into it. Every teacher has their own interpretation, but that should only go so far. You got to have that foundation, you see, and I'm hoping that those that I teach will do the same. This, to me, is not a game. It's a way of life for me, you see, and I'm being charged with teaching it and teaching it the correct way, to the best of my ability. And that's what I try to do. My son, Odell Donald Hamby, born 1987, and he was the joy of my life. In fact, when he was a little kid, you know, I was always playing around with him. Okay, this is the tiger's claw, this is the crane beak. It's like 1 year old, you know. He was just watching. In junior high school, he started having some problems with other kids, and that's when I had to set him down and talk to him and let him know that he must learn now how to defend himself, you know. And I spent a lot of time with him, and he just catch on, just caught on so fast, you know. This is a killing technique, okay, which we're not promoting killing, but you can also control your opponent. So he comes in here, I pull him this way, right? And here, right? I dig into his jaw, his face, dig in, right? And then turn the neck so that you break or control it. Okay?
Oh, okay. It really disorients you when you twist it like that.
Because if he continues to move, then I'll put more pressure.
Oh, I see.
See? Right, here, try.
So,
Okay, so you grab him, pull him in. It's called beat the horse to the stable, right? Yeah. Very effective. You have to be very careful. He's young, you know, spirited, and he wants to see if he can outdo his father. Can I get in on it, you know?
The skill is just extraordinary, you know. I've never seen anything like that in anybody else, you know, so. You know, I always wanted to go up against that, you know, so I can just grow. We had our ups and downs, you know. I'm pretty sure everybody has their ups and downs. There were several times where I wanted to quit. I'm actually really glad that I went through, and I'm really blessed to have a father that was able to, you know, go through all of the nonsense that I put him through in order to, you know, really train me in this art and have me pursue it the way that I have so far.
Steve Harvey's Big Time Challenge.
Our father and son team going for the big $10,000 check tonight. Please welcome Donald and Odell Hamby. What are you going to do with these rods, man?
Well, Steve, I'll do the power of what we call Qigong.
Call what?
Qigong.
Qigong.
Yeah, it means breath control. And you can make the body strong enough to bend or break steel. And that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to bend this steel rod by putting it in the soft part of my throat through the method of what we call Qi.
He applies dancing, how dancing is related to martial arts.
able to study from West African dance to some movements from East Africa as well as Central Africa. And I was able to analyze them and then apply them in a martial setting. There's so many different aspects of African culture that demonstrates and gives you directions and guidance, where to go, how to flow, what to do in every kind of way. And I can look to Africa to find the answers for anything that I want. So when I look at my school now, I look at the academy. We have services there on Sunday morning. And they provide an opportunity for us to celebrate the principles of African culture, good life, respect for our ancestors, for the Creator, and for humanity. Now the system that I do is called Inyoka Mapigano. The Inyoka Mapigano is the snake ground fighting system. Come on. The snake is my totem, it is my energy, it is something that I have felt the closest allegiance to. This is a reticulated python. When I let him go here, look at how he wraps. See, look at this, see how he curled? Isn't he gorgeous? The movements of the system that I teach deals with 4 particular snakes. The mamba is a snake that's known for its speed. Before you could turn around, the mamba would strike that fast. The cobra is a snake that deals with the awareness and its accuracy for when it strikes. It holds and then strikes. The viper is a snake that actually leaps up from the ground. I turn, I strike from every position. Good boy. Python. Now we're talking power. You're talking power, you're talking strength. This is a snake that hits and it strikes and it stuns its prey. That first movement is a shock. Boom! The punch is there. The kick is powerful. I want to grab, I want to wrap, and I want to hold on. We never let him go. They never release. And you can feel the strength all the way through.
It is dedicated to the god of the martial arts and the god of literature. Kwando represents skill and will in the Kwando. So I pray that General Kwong bless me and increase my martial skills because I'm known as Kwando Man. I like their culture. I like going to China. I like being the oddball. When I come there, they make me feel so good, and I never think more of myself than I should, because I'm humble. I go there to learn. I'm not trying to boost myself up as being somebody special. Hey, Oscar, how's it going? I go to Grandmaster Lam Jo's studio in Hong Kong and study with his son, Chan Fai, who's now the Grand Master of the Hung Gar lineage. The Lam family is one of the most important Kung Fu families in Hong Kong. Hey, Sue. Long time no see. Let's see you again. I am carrying on his father's legacy. Lam Jo is retired now. He was Bok Sam Kong's master. And Lam Jo's uncle was China's famous Kung Fu hero Lam Saiwen, who wrote the Kung Fu manuals I've been translating. But to have his son, Lam Chan Fai, is just like having his father. He has quality, and I admire that. And when I watch him on tape and I look how he moves, and I mean, this man totally embodies what he's doing, you know. And that's an example to me.
Oh, he's very sincere. Sincerity and practice, and I think he teaching students should be very hard and very good. Yeah, I hope we can develop our Lam family style, home style, better and better outside the world.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
Hung Gar is still thriving all over the world. Basically, the 5 animals in our style is the driving force behind our techniques. So in the Chinese culture, animals and elements of nature, okay, has a lot to do with the body. Wow. The tiger represents hard bones, ferocity. It's very powerful. It's very swift. So when it moves, it latches on to its prey, digs into its flesh, and try to rip it. Lam Joe was very good at showing us that. He said, oh, you punch, and when he grabbed, he slid the hand down until it locked between the ulna and the radius bone. He dug into it, when most people just grab like this, right? But he used a claw, and you cannot escape. So the tiger's to grab and strike. Chan Fai's son, Oscar, is the next generation of Hung Gar Kung Fu.
There's nothing like bringing people together quicker than competition. Whether it's the Olympics or whether it's open tournaments, if you do something very well, people respect that.
Who wears a chocolate suit? Come on.
I was at the stage in '81 where I just didn't want to compete anymore. I wanted to, get in promotion. So I decided I'm going to give a national tournament. But I've always been taught to think big. So the event the first year was in my local high school where I grew up, a little small high school gym. But I called it, even then, the U.S. Capitol Classics. Not like the capital city, the building with the node. And by the third year, I opened it up at the Washington Convention Center. And immediately, it was big.
I know you guys have been training really hard, and everybody there is going to be there to win. I mean, everybody's coming hoping that they walk out with first place. And at the end of the day, you want to feel good that you've given it 120%.
When I lose a job, I want to know that I actually applied what I learned in class and that I put my best foot forward.
Even if I lose, it's saying that I tried my best and that I didn't give up, and if I come back, I can still win.
How you doing? You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Just do your thing, right?
Yes, sir.
What do you think about these girls here? Don't get nervous. Just get out there and rock the house. You got it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Third, so we got a 2 and a 3. And the Capital Classic, trust me, that's really good. That's really good. Come on, y'all.
I went from Jamaica to England, did the judo and some karate, but nothing of any persuasion. Then I came here in my teens and I met with Rousseau and started my real martial arts training.
He was something else. As this young martial artist and fighter, his spirit energy was so strong.
First movement, assembly. 1.
Infinish Bakari is going to work the chakra hand system. And this first form is a basic movement and form that everybody learns.
The beauty about chakra hand is this, that this art joins the hands of the wrist. If you really want to hit someone and you join your hand at the wrist, now you're joining and fusing your force in front of you. So now both hands work together as a unit. So you're no longer shuffling, you're linking. Actually, chakra hands was made in America. Chakra hand to martial art is what we say jazz is to music. It came out of the slave experience. And the idea is that the hands are shackled to express what happened historically. So that's the idea behind it. All right, but it's a beautiful art, and we say it's as American as apple pie. Purchased 5 acres of land right across from the ocean in the Midlands, St. Anne's area of Jamaica.
It's a project that has been in development for many, many years. And it started, how long ago was that you really started working on this thing?
About 7 years ago.
This will be part of our serpentine path for Jamaica Kemet Martial Arts Palace. Now this is going to be an open training area here where the main outdoor training is going to take place. And this ground is going to be completely level, so it's going to be smooth and flat all the way through. The vast acreage with the trees and the fruit, the vegetables, that living in harmony with the land is extremely important.
These are ackee, a national dish, right? Ackee and saltfish.
Ackee and saltfish.
Sure.
we're trying to work in harmony and unison with several schools. So children can come and study math and science, and medicine and computer science, so they can be involved in the 21st century.
So we're laying this out now. In another, about 3 or 4 months, this place will be completely different. The story of the machete goes back to the time of slavery. The indigenous martial art out of the Maroons, coming out of Africa, is this. This was one of the primary weapons that was used by the Maroons throughout the British, in combat. It's multi-purpose. You can take some trees down and then you can practice your cuts. What it does, it tempers your martial art. It brings everything together. All the things that we're doing, forms like the overhead chop, the under chop, and the cross and all of that, you get a chance to apply it in a practical manner without having to hurt anyone but yourself.
Well, I am an African who happened to be born in the United States. It never leaves that part of me. The African in me never has gone anywhere. In fact, it's coming out more and more now because I'm in a space where it's also clearly recognized that these are African people here as well. So there's no change. I'm still me. It's Jamaica. Come on, look at this. Come on. This is beautiful. And it's hot.
I get tons of letters that say, you know, I want to thank you because when I went away to college, the stick-to-itiveness I learned from studying Kung Fu